Welcome to episode 148 of the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business. I'm Brian Fisher. Get ready for the most actionable 15 minutes in business podcasting. This podcast series focuses on the various subjects and topics to help you run a successful, profitable business, and is targeted to business owners and C-suite executives. But anyone interested in business can benefit. It reflects my 34 years as a business owner and subsequent years as a business mentor and consultant. They're approximately 15 minutes long, so you can listen while commuting. In the previous episode, 147, our guest was George Duback, discussing ultimate networking. Today's episode discusses cash flow and financial clarity with Shena White. Based out of Littleton, Colorado, Shena White is the founder of Your Pocket CFO, a company that helps you transform and scale your business to profitable heights. Unlock the power of financial clarity. Today's episode is packed with real-world insights and practical strategies for increasing your financial clarity and cash flow. Let's welcome Shena White. Shena, welcome to the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and talking to your audience.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Shena. Shena, I'm always interested in people's stories. What's your background becoming the founder of Your Pocket CFO, a company that helps you transform and scale your business to profitable heights?
So, I actually did not start in the accounting realm. I started as a owner of a small business, and I was primarily in the sales role. And 3 years into owning that business, I found out that my accountant had embezzled all of my tax money.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, it was super bad. 0 stars. Do not recommend. And so with that, I had the IRS breathing down my neck, because the thing about tax money is he stole it from me, not from them. So I still owed it. The IRS is really cool, though. They allowed me to go on a payment plan, and they abated most all the penalties and some of the interest. So they made it at least workable, even though I still had to pay tens of thousands of dollars. In that scenario, I didn't trust anyone, because this guy, he was an accountant. He came highly recommended from multiple people. He'd done this to me and 120 other companies. And so I felt really alone. I was like, okay, I'm a smart girl. I can figure this out. And in that year, I not only fixed everything with the IRS, but they also took my company from 4% profit to 24% profit in 1 year. And so after that, I had friends coming to me in the industry, and they were like, okay, last year you couldn't buy food. This year you're going to the Bahamas. Tell us your secrets. And so I just started helping people for free. And about 4 to 5 years later is when I took my first paying client. And then in 2021, I went full on into fractional CFO and accounting work, because I just love it.
This episode's topic is cash flow and financial clarity. What's the secret to effective cash flow?
Having more money come in than money go out. But in reality, it is about clarity, right? It's about knowing what is coming in and what is going out and when. So being able to see that ahead of time. So many times people, they say to themselves, they look at the bank balance and they say, oh, I have money today. And they spend it. And then they look at the bank balance the next day, they go, oh, I don't have money today. What am I going to do? And so really just looking ahead and saying, okay, if I know on the 15th of every month, I have to pay my car payment for $1,500, for my business, then I need to have $1,500 in the bank, and really pre-planning those expenses. And with every single one of my clients, I make a 13-week cash flow forecast, so we know exactly what's coming out of the bank. We're forecasting what's coming into the bank. Do we have any forecasted negatives? How do we fix that? How do we change that? Do we have forecasted huge positives that then we need to reinvest or do other things with, or put aside for taxes, things like that, so that we are in a really great position come the end of the year?
I laughed when you said more money coming in than going out. But when I started my business, that's what I knew about the financial side of a business. And through the 34 years that I had the business, I certainly became, financially aware or had some financial acumen.
Hmm.
Well, following up on that, how can you understand business financials without feeling overwhelmed?
I think it's just like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So many times people, they are thinking they need to be as knowledgeable as their accountant, or they need to know all the things. And I feel like a lot of accounting professionals too use a ton of jargon that people just don't understand, and they use all these words. I mean, it's like gross profit and gross margin, they're the same thing. I feel like accounting has added all these different words for the same things in order to confuse people and make accountants feel impressive and necessary. And to me, I want to demystify it all, right? How do we just make things make sense? Because all it is a math problem. And it's actually not even a complicated math problem. It's just pluses and minuses. So it's pretty much a giant elementary math problem. So it's like if we can just really chunk it down and see that it's just ins and outs, then it makes it a lot easier and it makes it not so overwhelming.
We're speaking with Shena White, founder of Your Pocket CFO. Shena White is a profit strategist and cash flow expert dedicated to helping businesses gain financial clarity, improve profitability, and build sustainable businesses with confidence. Shena works closely with businesses to simplify finances, strengthen cash flow, and create smarter financial systems that support long-term growth. Known for her energetic, honest, and practical approach, Shena helps businesses better understand their numbers so they can make confident decisions without feeling overwhelmed by finances. Her mission is simple: help businesses stop guessing with money and start building a profitable business intentionally. Now, let's get back to the questions. Shena, what are some profit first strategies for sustainable growth?
So I love Profit First. I was previously Profit First certified. It's a great book. One of the things that I really love is where it's talking about giving you your owner's pay and your profit. Because as a business owner, we own our business as an asset, right? We are the number one shareholder in our business. And so we deserve profit dividends from that. But also, most all the time, we are the most hardworking employee for our business. So we deserve compensation as an employee. There isn't an employee out there who would show up day after day after day and not get paid. So why are we showing up in our businesses day after day after day and not getting paid? That's not okay. So setting it up so that you have those things, and then also setting aside for tax, because as we all know, the tax man cometh. And we can do all the tax strategies in the world, and I know a ton of them to reduce tax burden. A lot of them, honestly, are just kicking the can down the road. And if you kick it far enough, you will die. So then you won't have to pay the taxes, which is what a lot of people do. But really focusing on what can we pay today in order to not have that like build up a big tax bill. I've seen so many people that taxes, afraid to file them, afraid to pay them, just afraid of the IRS. And the IRS isn't something to be afraid of. Your state, probably, but the IRS themselves, they want to work with you. They want to get you in a good position. And and so putting that money aside, making sure you can kind of stay right with Uncle Sam. And then having a budget for your business. To me, a budget is not a four-letter word. It is something that can set you free, because then you know exactly how much money you have to spend on investments, on employees, on materials, on supplies, on all these things. And so you can really know, okay, this is my money to spend. This is how much I'm going to use. And all the rest of my money is going into profit, tax, and my pay.
Speaking of taxes, that taxes are not your money. We actually had a separate checking account for taxes. So as we collected the tax, it went over into that account. So when it was time to pay, the money was sitting there.
Oh yeah, for sales tax, most definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
sales
yeah.
tax, and it's the same with your 940 and then your FICA and your FUTA taxes, like your withholdings from your employees' paychecks, that's not your money either. And so actually those are the two taxes that even if you go bankrupt, you cannot just charge those in bankruptcy because it's considered a trust tax. It's not your money.
Shena, what results or lessons learned have you seen with businesses and individuals that have implemented your recommendations?
Well, man, I had clients who went from one that when we first started, they had done like 100 grand the year before. And then 2 years later, we did $2.5 million in sales at 25% profit. Had another client that she was at like 250,000 a year, pretty steady. And then we started working together and she had her first $1 million year. And then she was on track for 2.5 million the next. I've helped companies scale from 6 million to 10 million in 2 years. I've helped one client go from 5% profitability to 35% profitability in a year and a half. So yeah, lots of fun wins for my clients.
We're speaking with Shena White, founder of Your Pocket CFO. Shena, is there anything I've not asked that you'd like to add?
Oh gosh. No, I mean, I would just say that don't be afraid. People, I think they get scared because they don't know, they don't have the knowledge, and they just want to stick their head in the sand. And that place will only get you further from your goals. So really knowing that you don't have to know everything right now. You just have to start someplace and start to learn and start to really take control of your finances, personal and business. And the more you really take control, the more that you will feel that confidence, and then the better it will all get.
Shena, how can people get in contact with you?
It's easy. I am Your Pocket CFO everywhere. So on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, Your Pocket CFO.
Shena, thank you for joining us today on the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Thanks so much for having me.
My sincere thanks to Shena White for joining us today. Managing the performance and future direction of your company are two of the most important things you do as a leader. And I'm here to help you. If you'd like to reach out to me for business mentoring or consulting, help you with a podcast, schedule a speaking engagement, or potentially be a guest like Shena, please go to bcforg.com. There's a red Contact Us button in the middle of the homepage. These podcasts will be released the first and third Tuesday each month. This podcast is available wherever you get your podcast. In search, type BCF.org. Be sure to leave a space between BCF and ORG. I'm looking for this podcast to move from an upper mid-tier podcast to a top-tier podcast. Please leave a positive review, let your friends and colleagues know about it, and don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow the podcast. Join us in our next episode, 149, when our guest will be Jason Rosado, discussing Simplify Your Business and Scale with Confidence. In business, running a successful, profitable business is the ultimate scorecard. You are never done and can always be better. It tends to be more fun than work, frustrating at times, but can be very rewarding. From BCF ORG Corp., I'm Brian Fisher, wishing you the best. Thanks.